Big fight this weekend. Got Wilder versus Fury, number two. Biggest heavyweight fight. Might be probably the biggest boxing fight of the year. I can't see a boxing fight surpassing this unless they go a third time. I mean, it just can't. I can't see it. Um, and unless Wilder and Joshua, Wilder wins or Fury wins and they fight Joshua. That's about the only things that compete right now with this fight. I want to give you a breakdown of how I see this fight could play out and what strategies I see that both guys could play out, can use during this fight. I just rewatched the first one. It was a little bit closer than I originally thought. I still thought Fury won the fight, but it was a little bit closer than I originally thought. The first few rounds were a lot more competitive than I remembered when watching it live. But I did think Fury won the fight. I thought he won it probably about 2 points. But it was closer than I thought. It was a lot closer than I thought. And the things I took from that fight was with Fury was effective was his jab. He had a very good jab, and what he started doing was he started getting movement around the second, third round. He started moving around. He started getting loose with his jab and smacking it. He has a real heavy jab, real fast, heavy jab. And it was in every time he hit Dante, it stopped him, and then allowed Dante Wilder to explode forward as much as he wanted. And when he started hitting it, and then what he started doing, and this will be here in this fight, I think as well, is he started jabbing and then he started feinting it multiple times though. Not one time, not a feint and then jab. He feinted it multiple times and worked his way in to where it got Wilder to hand straight up and stiffen up, and then he would hit him straight through his guard with his right hand. I think that's going to be there for him. I think he's got to get that jab flowing, get it going, and just pop, pop, and then start faking it and make Wilder's defense a lot of times is to come here and just protect himself, put a high shield up, and you could get work off, and that's what you do. You get that to get Wilder from stopping aggressive to a defensive position, and then work in between his shots. And Fury's very good at picking shots in between your guard. And I think that if Fury's looking for a knockout, and he's going to look to be aggressive, the shot that's going to be the most effective for him is a straight right, but it's got to be right off the jab. So start feinting the jab, and then 1-2, boom, boom. So just have Wilder guessing, and you would if he starts doing that early, when he's fresh, he's as fresh as he can put his most power behind his shots. If he's going for knockout, that's what he should do, is start working that jab. What I see him for effective for Wilder, he needs to jab more, but jab to the body. Jab straight to Fury's body. Fury's very loose up top. Very good movement, very good head movement. Hard to catch him. He's constantly moving. Jab to his body. Hit the bigger target. He's got a big, giant body, good target. And when you hit to Fury's target, he gets stuck in a position. He will cover, and he will kind of come down to his position. So Fury is very good, very elusive, but he is a big guy. And if he does get hit, he does actually plant himself and does defensive moves, but in a steady position, in the same position. And if that's what gave Wilder the last round, that shot was what he went and hit Fury. Fury stopped, went down to duck under because Wilder was going over the top, and that was really one of the few few punches in that fight. It was a straight right hand from a far distance that Wilder landed. So Wilder needs to get to his body, work his body, hit his jab straight to the body, jab to the body, jab to the body. Get Fury to start protecting his body and plant his feet. When he plants his feet, then that's when Wilder can start working, because he's not hitting a moving target as much. Just less movement. There's more placement there, and Wilder needs to throw more straight right hands, not to loop them so much. Now, I'm not saying that he can't loop them, and he would say, well, why would he loop any of his shots? Why would he do any of that? Why? Well, that's not effective, but it could be for Wilder, because if you start looping your shots, if it doesn't allow Fury to project where the punches are coming from. Some loop, some are straight. In Fury, he relies on head movement a lot of his defense. Sometimes he lets his hands drop and just tries to be slick with it. What you want with a guy like that is you want him to be guessing. And if Wilder can throw looping shots and then mix it in with straight right hands, boom, down the thing, I think that he can catch Fury. I think that's how he will catch Fury. I think that they saw that. I think he learned it late in that fight, and I think that that's what he hit exactly Luis Ortiz with, a straight right hand right to the forehead. And I think if he comes in and starts piercing into his body, hitting him straight to his body, boom, get Fury to start blocking and protecting. Once he gets hit, he gets stuck in a position and starts moving his head, or looks to let you in so he can grab you. That's when you can start chopping him down from that thing. Fury's going to look for the straight right. I think that Fury's going to have, if Wilder keeps doing looping punches, Fury's got to make him pay a lot more this time. I think he's got to hit him with a lot of uppercuts, but don't stay in this. Don't stay in the flurries, especially not early. Even though Wilder's power carries late, is probably still better chance that you're more successful in these flurries later in the fight, other than early when Wilder's still really fresh. This is a very important fight. The heavyweight division is probably the most important. I think I said it's the biggest fight of the year for boxing. Biggest fight of the year, and I don't know if there's another fight that can really surpass this fight on just the size and the hype and everything behind it. I don't think there's another fight that really can surpass this year. Canelo doesn't have an opponent. It's Golovkin, and even that fight, even if he fights Golovkin, a big fight, but it wouldn't be as big as this fight because these are two guys at their absolute best, and I think people know that Golovkin is no longer at his best, and people kind of project that Golovkin will lose that fight, maybe even get knocked out and stop. It still sells. That fight still sells, but it's just not the biggest fight of the year anymore. It doesn't have that kind of power. And then I did want to talk about Ryan Garcia, which was just an amazing performance. Was everything I thought that he needed to do, he did in that fight, and everything I thought the capabilities he even surpassed. Really, just how good this guy really is, and how good his timing is, and how really hard he's hitting. And he's hitting like it's like his punches are like a whip. Like it just catches right in that, right at the end of it. And when he hits you with it, it lights out. And he I seen Devin Haney find the undercard, which was they tried to give him a showcase fight on the undercard of the Logan Paul KSI. And they were just trying to give him, make him look good. And I think he was in there with a guy that was smart. He was a tough fighter, but he did not look extremely impressive in that fight. And he didn't look like what Ryan Garcia showed here. And Ryan Garcia, now they're saying that, look at Fonseca, that he wasn't a credible opponent, but he was, because he's been rounds with legit champions. Now, has he beat anyone? No, but that doesn't mean you're not a credible opponent because you haven't beaten no one. If you've been there and you've been competitive, Jojo Diaz has never beat anyone until he beat Dan Farmer. But before Dan Farmer, he's still a credible opponent because he's been in there with tough guys and gave tough fights to very good fighters, very good champions. And that's what Fonseca did. And Fonseca got knocked out in the first round. Ryan Garcia, out cold. Out cold. This guy has the makings to be an absolute star, and I think, DAZN, this is going to save DAZN. Now, I think maybe they're saying DAZN, you think, well, DAZN needs saving? Do they need saving? And I think the model that they have, it's really relying on some of these guys to taking off. And they had Canelo, but the thing is about Canelo is it was good in the beginning. Now it's kind of slowing down. And not saying Canelo's slowing down. He just literally has no opponents. He's so damn good that there's no one there to fight. He literally has no one there and nothing that sounds interesting right now. I think about it all the time and I say, who could this guy fight? It's just nothing that's interesting right now. The only thing that maybe could build up to, and is if David Benavidez or Caleb Plant, they fight each other in the winner of that fight. But they're also very big. But like I said, that'd be interesting. That'd be a very interesting fight. But that's down the ways. What's going to happen now? I just can't see anything else. Golovkin, yes. That's about it. And that's not even as big as what it once was. You know what I mean? When they fought before twice. It's not there anymore. It's not there anymore. But DAZN, stars, it's really hard to predict who's going to be a star in the sport. But Ryan Garcia is a real hard one to miss. For anyone, even someone that's not an expert at boxing or, talent scout. The bidding war on Ryan Garcia should have been insane. I don't know what it was to get him, but it should have been insane. It should have. Just look at the kid. He's fast. His videos of just him hitting a bag blow up on Instagram. Just him hitting a bag. He's a charismatic fighter, and that's a really underrated thing. Is people don't talk about when it comes to a star is, are you a charismatic fighter in the ring? Is it fun to watch you fight? Not just saying do you go to wars, but is it look interesting when you fight? Your movement. I think that's a really underrated thing for Conor McGregor is he's a very charismatic fighter. His movements are very different, and when you see them, it really stands out. Canelo wasn't so much early on. Now it is. Now Canelo, the stuff he did, he has more movement, his combinations there. But early Canelo was kind of like stomp around. He was just kind of had like, he was hard hitting and put pressure. But now Canelo has gotten it later in his career that he's very fun to watch now because he's very smooth now. He just looks the part now. Ryan Garcia's had that since he's entered boxing. And now that it's all his legs are underneath him, everything's coming together to a complete package, he has the makings of being the star that maybe boxing's never even seen before.